I'm back to do another video. So I'm going to tell you the top 15 authors that I read this year that I really am excited to read more of. Now, a lot of these are just authors I have found this year. A couple of them I think are debuts, and if I happen to know that they're debuts, I will definitely point them out to you. I'm also just going to attach photos because I don't have all of these physical books and I just put all my books away. So the first author that made an impression on me was Amy Carter. She wrote Royal Blood. I will attach a photo here. The reason I really like this book is it had so many elements that work for me. It was like a royal murder mystery, but it also really was very, very critical of the British press, which I liked. I think that it gave me Harry and Meghan vibes. And I just like the murder mystery. I like the characters. It was rich people problems, but with a character that I actually liked. And it just had such a quick turnaround story that I really, really enjoyed. So that is why this book is on this list, and I'm really excited for the sequel in 2024. The book author that I found this year, I think I read 3 books by Megan Golden. And I really liked her. I read her standalone mystery, which I can't think of the name of. It was the red cover, Stay Awake. And then I read the 2 Rachel Crowell books. So I read the blue one and I read the green one. Sorry, I'm like a color person. But I really did like them. I'll attach my photo of my favorite. I would say probably Stay Awake was my favorite. I'll touch it here. Like them. I think I'm definitely gonna stick to the audios, and I will say, I said this in one of my reviews, I felt like you don't really get to know Rachel as a character that much. That's why I think I like Stay Awake a little bit more, because I felt connected to that character. But she just writes interesting, mystery thrillers with a podcast element, and the other book had a unique premise. So I enjoyed it. I don't think that they're my favorite books ever, but it's an author that I do want to keep an eye on and read her newer stuff. So that is why she is on this list. And I would love to know who is your new authors you found this year that you want to read more from. So Megan Golden is definitely on this list because I read 3 books by them, which is exciting. I also read 3 books by B.K. Borison. I will attach a photo of my favorite, which is Mixed Signals. It's small town contemporary romances. This whole series definitely gave me Stars Hollow vibes, and I really love them all. I just put Mixed Signals on here because I felt that connected, but all of them were super good. And I just like how it was a small town romance. It had small town vibes. There was a bit of spice, a little bit of steam, but really it gave me Gilmore Girls vibes. But I just like B.K. Borison's writing style, and she might be up there with Ashley Poston that just writes really, really easy, digestible stories. And yeah, I was really happy to get around to this, and I definitely want to see how she ends the series and what she writes in the future. And then the next author is not going to be a shock to anyone, and that is Rebecca Yarros. I'll attach a photo here. If we don't, I do not know what you're doing on the internet. But I really, really liked her writing style. I thought she captured characters really, really effectively, and I just thought her world building was fun. I think her plot needs to be a bit more cleaner in future books, and I haven't heard the best things about book 2, but I love the characters, and as you'll see in my next video where I talk about my worst books of the year, I struggle when I don't have a clear character to like and appreciate. So that is how Rebecca Yarros made this list, and I hope her stories keep getting better and better, and we see more of the dragons. Another author that I read 2 books by this year is Darcy Coates. I will attach a photo here. What I read by her was her cozy mystery series. I read The Whispering Dark or The Whispering Dead. I will attach a photo here. I really like this book. It gave me Ghost Whisperer vibes. I know people said that they didn't love book 1. I didn't love book 1 either, but I'm excited to read book 2 and book 3. The concept is cool. It's light horror, which is what I like because I don't really like horror, but I just liked it. It gave me Ghost Whisperer eyes. There was a mystery. There was side characters. It was fun. I'm here for it. And I really am excited to finish up this series in 2024 and read the new book. The next author that I found was Stephanie Burgess. She wrote Scales and Sensibility. I will attach a photo here. Again, I was hunting for some dragon books. This was a Regency romance with dragons, which, oh my goodness, was perfect. And it's basically like Sense and Sensibilities. So I just really, really liked this one. It was fun. It was quick. The dragon was fun. The characters were fun. And I want to read, I actually have booktube, but I'm waiting for the audiobook because this will be a different video, but I learned like what genres I like to listen to versus what genres I like to read. I definitely prefer to listen to listen to my romances, but I loved it. It was fun. It gave me Regency vibes with dragons, and I was here for it. Another author that I found this year with her debut was Emma Torres, who wrote Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe. I will attach a photo here. Adult fantasy book that just worked for me. I thought it was unique. I thought it was different. There was a lot of elements into the story that I don't think were spoiled in the summary, which is hard, I think, when you're kind of pitching an adult fantasy book, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the characters were fun. Very, very strong sister dynamics, but also some other elements, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on what they write next. And the next author I'm going to chat about is Kara MacDonald, who wrote The Prince and the Apocalypse. I will touch a photo here. This was just a super fun read. It basically follows a main character who is kind of adventuring in England, and there is an apocalypse, and she can't get home, and she winds up teaming up with this prince to try to get home, and it was just a fun time. I got to the end and I was like, oh god, there's gonna be another book, and I just thought it was a fun read. Very over the top, but it had royalty vibes, which I liked, and it also had like a quest. It had like trying to get home, and had a famous and a normal person like having a dynamic, and I liked it. I really want to read book 2, Heir Apparently, but this author just really surprised me. It was a very, very fun read, but it dealt with harder topics, and I was definitely intrigued by all of them. And yeah, if I haven't attached a photo, here is one. The next author I'm going to chatter out that I read 2 books from is Catherine Center. I read The Bodyguard, and I also read Hello Stranger. I loved Hello Stranger. I listened to both audiobooks, and I just think both characters worked for me. So here's a picture of Hello Stranger. This was just a fun read. It was like a fun romance. It had some quirky main characters, both like very, very different romances that I've never really read before that I am like intrigued to keep reading, and they were just fun. One had a dog, one had like a woman as like a bodyguard, and I just flew through them. They were really, really quick. I want to read the rom-commers coming out in 2024. Her backlist is mostly like women's fiction, which I don't always love, but I really do like her audiobooks, so I may pick them up in the future just to see. And then the next author we are going to chat about is Elise Kova, which I've read The Heir Awakens. I will attach a photo here. This book was fun. It was a fun elemental magic story. If you saw my top reads of the year video, or when I post that, you'll know that my top read of the year had elemental magic. So I'm on the hunt for something that has those dynamics, and this worked. I read it during a really, really busy weekend, and I flew through it. I liked the romance. I thought the world was fun. The plot was okay, but that's what I always say about plots. You have to really like do something unique in like a fantasy plot to really like rock my world. But it was fun. I want to read more by this author. She has a lot of books out, but this series was the one that intrigued me the most. And then the next author I'm going to talk about is Sophie and H. Morgan, who wrote The Witch's Back. I will attach a photo here. This was a witchy rom-com that had Regency romance vibes. It was a second chance romance, and I loved it. Another book that had an animal in it. If you don't watch my reading vlogs, you probably don't know I have a very, very cute, stubborn German Shepherd. So whenever I see dogs in books, it always tugs at my heart because it reminds me of my puppy. But it was just fun. I just liked the story. She was a really, really good writer. This was one of the books that I really struggled with with reading, and I was having a lot of focus issues. I'm so glad I restarted it because it definitely was one of my favorite romances of the whole season. Definitely one of my favorite Halloween reads, and I really hope we get a book 2 because her best friends are so freaking funny. But yeah, definitely an author to keep an eye out, or I'm gonna keep an eye out for future. If you like witchy romances, I would definitely check her out because I don't think it got nearly enough love and attention. The next author, for me, a new book that I read by this author, a new book in general, was Allie Hazelwood, because I read Check and Mate. I will touch a photo here. I would definitely say this is definitely an upper YA book, but it worked for me. It had like a chess competition. It had these 2 characters, definitely hate to more dynamics, definitely like that was fun. But basically they were kind of forced to be in a competition together, and the girl beat the guy, and he's like the king of chess. and it was a fun time. Definitely upper YA, I would say, more like new adult just because they're out of college. She also has a lot of baggage with her family and her dad and a lot of reasons. It is only one point of view, and I sometimes missed his point of view, but it was a solid read, and I want to go back and read other books by this author because I was intrigued. And the next author that I read that I really liked was Becky Chambers. I will touch a photo of her novella that I read. Another author that I just liked. It's very, like, I love books when they're infused with diversity and, like, I don't even have to think about it, but I like this. I like the characters, I like the dynamics. I haven't been reading a ton of normal sci-fi, but sci-fi novellas have been working for me, and I really want to go back and read her actual longer series, but this was just fun. It was about a tea monk and a robot that have to kind of work together to save the day, and it was fun. It was a quick listen. I want to read more, and hopefully that happens. And I can actually show you the next one because I have a book here. The next author that I loved was Taiji Endo from Spy Family. I read like 4 volumes of this year, and I loved it. I thought it was fun. I just think that these are fun adventure stories. When I need to turn my brain off a bit, I'll pick up some manga. And yeah. And the last author I'm going to chat about is A Little Bit of Magic by Lindsay Lanza. I will touch a photo here. The last person to make this list, but it was one of my Christmas reads that I read, and it basically is a second chance romance. The main character has lupus, I think, so she kind of goes back to her old town to kind of, you know, to help out, and she winds up running into her ex-flame, and things go from there. She has a lot of diversity in her reads, a lot of complicated issues, but I thought this read was so fun. So let me know in the comments what is an author you found this year that you loved. I would love to know, and I'll talk to you guys soon.